Hey guys, it's George. I'm going to work on the FroKnowsPhoto Raw edit number 50. Today's edit is actually pretty interesting. It's one of Jared's concert pictures. I already did the actual edit in Photoshop because I knew it was going to take me longer than I really wanted to show in the video. I think took me probably like 45 minutes to actually do the edit. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just go back and show you what I did layer for layer so that you can see what I did without actually me doing it and taking all that time. Okay, let's get started. Well, the first thing I did was bring in the image into my Camera Raw editor on Photoshop CS5. And I did really small changes in the Camera Raw. I did most of it in Photoshop because I knew it was going to be a black and white. So and I don't like, how can I explain this? I just do very basic stuff in Camera Raw, so when I bring it into Photoshop, I have more control over what I'm going to be doing inside of the Photoshop file. So first thing I did, of course, I enabled the lens profile. It got rid of a little bit of distortion and some vignetting around the edges. And then what I did in the basic panel, all I did was add a little brightness, a little clarity and a little vibrance. I pumped it up to 14 clarity and 4 vibrance, and that is actually all I did in Camera Raw. So then I brought it into Photoshop. This is what the image looks like in Photoshop. And I knew I was going black and white instantly. So the first thing I did is I added a gradient map, which is a black to white gradient map. And if you've seen my raw edits before, you know that I use this a lot because I do a black and white gradient map and put it on luminosity, and it just gives it some punch, it gives it some contrast. If you see what just gives it a little bit of contrast. Then I duplicate that same layer and do a second one. It's gonna make the darks really dark, and since I'm gonna be going black and white, this is kind of what I want. I want the darks really dark and the white's going to be pretty white. Next thing I did is I did a curve to brighten the whole thing up, to brighten the lights up. If you see, and in color it's getting a little crazy, but my black and white layer, I did a black and white layer, which converts it to black and white. And then the reason I do a black and white adjustment layer is because it allows me to go in and finesse each of the actual colors in the photograph. See, if I do just the red channels, it lets me finesse all those channels still. See, this is the yellow channels. All those colors in the actual image, but into a black and white. So, it'll find all the reds, and I can adjust light or darkness in those colors. That's why I like using the black and white adjustment brush. And you can find that down here. Down here. Black and white adjustment. The next thing I did is, this thing was shot at 8000 ISO, and it had a little bit of noise, but not enough for my taste. I wanted this image to be really, really noisy. So what I did is I made a noise layer, and I duplicated it 3 times and really added a lot of noise. If you look at some of it, here I'll show you before and after. So that's before. That's the after. So I really wanted a lot of noise. I wanted this thing to go like crazy noise. And next thing I did, okay, so that was kind of my color shifts. And it's already starting to look really good. This is almost to a point where I'm liking it already, but I did a lot more work. First thing I did is I duplicated the entire image and I blurred it. I blurred the image. See how it's all kind of blurry right now? And I masked out the main subject. And basically why I did that was because I wanted the background to blur a little bit more. So if you look at the background, I just wanted a little bit more blur in that background to get rid of the guy with the camera back here. And even then I had to do some more. But okay, so the next thing I did is I did some highlights. On these lights, I brightened those lights up to make them look like they're more lit up. Did quite a bit of work on the lights actually, but that's one of the layers I did. Next thing I did, oh, okay, so down here on his crotch, right underneath his crotch right here, there's a light. And it was just kind of bugging me that it's just kind of like, look at me, right on his crotch. So I cloned that out, made sure I got rid of that. Next thing I did is I did a high pass sharpen layer. And what I do is I duplicate everything I have underneath, and then I go to filter other high pass, and it creates a sharpen layer. And then I masked out the entire background and only left him sharpened. So if you look at, if I sharpen the entire thing, and then I just masked out the background, and then I, just him is sharpened. So it just adds a little detail to him. Next thing I did, okay, so let me go to my desktop real quick. So the next thing I did is I opened a file. Let's see, desktop, called Flare. Now this is a file that I created in Photoshop. My God, almost 10 years ago probably. And I've had in my library forever and ever. And it's just a shot of a lens flare that I created a long time ago that I use all the time. I mean, I use this thing all the time. So this is what it looks like. It was just a lens flare. I'm going to close it because I already have it in here. But I brought it in to this Photoshop file. And I put it on screen. Let me put it on normal just so that you guys can, well, actually you won't be able to see it because it's in black and white. But here, let me show you. I'm going to move it up to above the black and white there. So, I brought it in and I put it on screen. What happens if you put it on normal, you get that black box around it. But once you put it on screen, it gets rid of the black box and just leaves the color part of the flare. Right, and so I put it above that light, and I actually blurred it just a little bit so it's not so sharp, but you can't tell because it's pretty sharp. So I put it on that light, and then I did another one on this light, another one on this light, and another one on this light, another one on this light. I just kind of wanted to create like a real just crazy blurred light, just to enhance the image just a little bit. Next thing I did is I darkened the bottom, just this whole bottom part, just to make it a little less distracting with these petals and stuff. And I did a little bit of darkening painting. So with this one, what I did is I darkened some areas that I thought could be darker. So there's some areas around here that I darkened, some areas back here to get rid of some of that distracting stuff. Definitely wanted to darken the guy in the camera. See, I'll keep turning it off and on, show you guys, just to really make the main guy pop. And then I did some highlights. Basically, I did a white layer. I did a layer on overlay, and I painted some white highlights on some of his chest and some of his face and some of his hands. Just and then just to change kind of the light and add a little bit of highlights to him. If you look at like his leg and his chest and some of his face, and I just wanted to add a little light to him. And then the last thing I did is I just kind of darkened this. There's this area right here that was a little distracting to me, and I just added a little more darkness there to hide it even more. And that's basically what I did. That's my edit. I had a lot of fun with this edit, and I just wanted to show you guys what I did. But it took me quite a while to do it, and I didn't want to make a video that was 45 minutes long. So there you have it. I hope you enjoy it, and can't wait for the next one. All right, talk to you guys next time. Bye.